Hello, welcome to the Critical Obsession podcast. My name is Mirella,
And I'm Zoe.
and today we're going to react to the trailer of 23.5. I'm very curious about it because so far the Girls Love series that I've tried did not really work for me, and this is the first one from GMM, so I'm looking forward to seeing what they're doing with this.
I know there's been quite a bit of hype about it because I know that the pairing between Milk
Milk and
and
Love.
Love from Bad Buddy was like really popular. I wasn't a huge fan personally, but I know that like a lot of people really liked that part of Bad Buddy and their pairing. So I'm pretty sure lots of people have been waiting for this, and it was delayed as well, wasn't it?
Yes, several times. Even the trailer was delayed.
Yeah. So do we know? Oh, okay. I think it's meant to air early March. I think is what I've
Mhm.
heard. Yeah, and on a Friday. So it's so weird because what happened with this. They put I don't think anything on Friday after last Twilight. There was just this big gap. So it was very unusual. I wonder what caused the delay. I haven't heard about what they're doing on a Sunday, like to replace Cooking Crush either. So it's interesting. Anyway, should we watch the trailer?
Let's go watch the trailer.
Okay. Hello.
Hello. So I don't know what the hell just happened, but I watched it 2 times and I cried both times.
Okay, you had a different reaction to me. uh, I most definitely
Yes.
did not cry at all.
Mhm, mhm. What did you do? Did you laugh?
Not really. I didn't really have much reaction at all. If I'm being honest, it's definitely not my thing. Um, but
All right, let me tell you why I thought it was really cute
okay.
then. So it starts with her bag, right? We focus on her bag first, and we see that 23.5 is a degree, right? So I googled it, and it's the degree on which the Earth axis is tilted, and it's the cause of seasons, basically. So we understand that Oxa is a country girl, and she goes to this school, and she instantly has a crush on Sun. Maybe she already followed her on the internet, who knows? And to her, Sun is the center of the universe. And what I thought was interesting is that the school's name is S-Tar. So basically, as she says, it's a new universe. It's a school of stars, probably, and Sun is her own personal star. I like the vibe that it had. It certainly does. It gave me a bit of a Cooking Crush feeling because it has this slapstick comedy thing a little
Mm-mm.
bit, but in a cute way. So then we see her trying to interact with Sun, but she just um it gave me a bit of my beautiful man vibes because she thinks of herself of this a loser or something, and she puts Sun on a pedestal, and this actually creates distance between them. And I'm wondering if they're going to explore this, because when you think that someone is that perfect, you put yourself down, it's a problem. You need to overcome this in order to have a healthy relationship. So
Mm.
I wonder if this way, the way she sees this contrast between them, is one of the things that she has to overcome in order to actually have a relationship with Sun, and to make Sun feel like she is seen. So Sun is a very popular girl, right? And then we see Ton, the guy, hitting on Osa, and Sun is jealous. I really enjoyed the moment, the scene where they play basketball, basketball, which looks absolutely ridiculous. But I'm gonna tell you, this is exactly how I used to throw a ball. Like when I was in school, we had to do this as part of our physical,
Education.
education, or whatever. Yeah. And like I was so bad at it. The harder I tried, the worse I was. Like I tried to throw it, like the small balls. Like you had to throw it as far as possible, and the harder I tried, the closer it felt to me. Like it went straight down, like near my feet. And it's actually hilarious because I used to complain to my violin teacher about this, because we were on very good terms, like we were very friendly. And she was like, oh no, no, you know what, you should tell them that you shouldn't throw at all, because like it might cause you an injury, like you might injure your hand, and you can't afford that because you're a violinist. So I was like, oh god, I feel it, girl. And so what I understood, but I feel like it wasn't made very clear here in this trailer, but as far as I remember, in the first trailer, she starts to talk with, um, to interact with Sun on the internet, and her name is Earth, but she does it. She hides her identity, right? So she flirts with her online, but uh, Sun thinks she is a guy called Earth, and then I guess she starts having a crush on this Earth person, and at some point it goes too far, and Ongsa doesn't know how to tell San that it's actually her.
Mm.
And then I thought that was so freaking cute. I thought that was so cute. And also
See,
View and from Dangerous Romance are also there, and I feel like maybe View is a Sandir character from what I saw with her in this trailer. Like she was either staring blankly into nothing or just being completely dramatic, and June was there like, hello. It was really cute.
so okay, let me tell you my thoughts about it. First off, you were talking. One of the things you mentioned was AJ's character Ton seeming to
Mhm,
be interested in Ong Sa, and
mhm,
Sun seems jealous. I don't know that she's jealous. I feel like because she asks him, is he really hitting on her? And he says something like, let's just say she's really important to me, or something like that. I feel like
mhm.
maybe she might be more worried about the fact that he's like, might be
Suddenly interested. Yeah,
making fun
because
of her, maybe
yeah,
not,
yeah,
not,
yeah.
yeah, not jealous. I don't know. It's
I
that was
agree.
just
I
my
agree.
impression.
I agree. I
Um,
agree. Yeah.
so
Because it
I
looks
have,
like he has some hidden agenda. He doesn't look
yeah,
sincere at all.
mm,
And the way they made her look like a loser, really, because she considers herself to be not good enough, or like some sort of a loser.
mm,
So the way he's hitting on her does look suspicious, because he probably sees her like this as well.
mm. So I'll tell you what I liked about it, and then I'll tell you what my issues with it. So I thought the change in their dynamic from Bad Buddy was interesting. Um, Making love the more confident of the pairing, and that I sort of found that interesting, the change of it. Um,
Hmm.
I thought the last scene that they show you in the trailer where they're sitting watching the stars, I thought that was really pretty. And that's about it, unfortunately. So my first thing is high school. Why high school? They're way too old for high school. But that's probably just where the story, like the original story, is set. So that's like something you really can't, too much about. Not a
Yeah.
fan of all of the screaming, like at all. Like every time she
Hmm.
screamed, I like flinched. Um,
Hmm.
it looks like it to me. It has the vibe a little bit of old school BL, where there's like lots of misunderstandings. So it
Hmm.
actually seems like Sun. And it's funny because I didn't watch. You said in the original trailer. I never watched the original trailer, so I don't know anything. I can't comment on that. But I did read the write up on My Drama List, so I understood the premise of that she's been following her on Instagram or something, the equivalent of that. Um, and they start speaking in that way, and
Hmm.
she doesn't realize that it's the same
Hmm.
person, and blah blah blah. So there's that misunderstanding. It does look like Sun likes her from the beginning, because she seems
Hmm.
to, there's lots of longing looks back and forth and all that sort of stuff. So I'm picturing many misunderstandings, which to me has, like, as I said, old school BL vibes.
Hmm.
Um which is funny because like the BLs have evolved from that. So it's interesting that
Mm-hmm.
like this is starting at that rather than
Mm-hmm.
starting more evolved.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure about their chemistry, honestly, because and that might also be left over for me from Bad Buddy because I didn't feel it, I didn't get it, and I didn't really in this either. The kiss they show us looks very very awkward, but maybe I mean obviously one of the characters is super awkward, so that
Mm-hmm.
could just be it. It's a snippet of the scene, like you'd need to see the whole scene to know for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and there's a scene in the trailer where suddenly Ongsa looks like she does in Bad Buddy, where it's like a total glow up, like suddenly she's, the glasses are gone and there's makeup and the hair is styled and everything. And I'm not a huge fan of that. That whole thing where, like if she's a bit of a nerd, like let her be a bit of a nerd and be loved. Like that's just me. But the scene is a little bit fuzzy, so it may be a fantasy of hers. Or it
Mm-hmm.
could be that is how Sun actually sees her. Sometimes what was that saying? Love is blind. So not that she's not a pretty girl with her glasses or anything, but do you know what I mean? Like as you said, she's got low self-esteem or whatever. So this could be
Mm-hmm.
like her idea of a fantasy of like them getting together or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But if that's something they're gonna do where they do like the sudden makeover glow up thing, I'm like, that would probably be taking the one of the things that I actually liked about the show and like throwing it out the door. So um
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't think it's for me if I'm being like 100% honest. I will probably watch maybe an episode and try it or something because it's to me I didn't get enough from the trailer for me to like make a decision either way. Although, as I said, I'm not a fan of all of the screaming, and there was a lot of that. Like literally every second scene, she's like screaming. So, if that is what it's like in the show, that would probably be enough actually to make me turn it off. Um, I feel like
Actually, it didn't bother me because it looks like she's a fangirl, you know? She's a fangirl who idolizes Sun. She's
oh look,
literally her son, which is
it's
like,
not.
it
Yeah,
has,
it's not.
to me, like, if they make it an issue, actually, I will find it very interesting if this is an issue that she has to overcome, if this is something that she has to be fixed so that their
Yeah,
relationship is,
it's not
because
so much
sometimes
that
if she
she
does
does
that,
it. It's not
if
so
she,
much that it's in the story, it's just that I don't like to listen to it. Like, as I said, every time
mm,
it happened, I was like, ugh, ugh. So, like,
mhm,
physically reacting to it. So,
mhm,
it, it being a plot point, I don't have an issue with it. I just don't want to listen to it.
mhm,
So, I would either have to watch it, like, on mute, or I don't know. Like, if it was something that happened a lot, I think it would be enough for me to turn it off. But, um, I think the only way I'd put up with something like that is if it was an actor or a character I really really liked and I didn't get that from this. So as I said, I would probably watch an episode and give it a go, but that was a huge turn off for me. But and there was a bunch of other things unfortunately. So um I know a lot of people are going to like this though. I feel like it looks fun and it definitely looks sweet. Don't get me wrong, it looks sweet. But and I know, as I said before, I know a lot of people have been waiting for this. But yeah, I don't know.
it looks like they're going to air this series on Netflix, and there's going to be a cut version, an uncut version, but they're
Yeah, but
not airing it
I
on Netflix everywhere, just in like some countries in Southeast Asia and late Latin America, which is
yeah. So
like,
basically,
why?
they're going to limit themselves a bit, like they did with Cooking Crush. Yeah, I noticed that as well, which is such a silly thing to do because they're already limiting this series for fans. Um, and there's probably going to be a lot of fans of Milk and Love who really want to watch this and who want to watch the uncut version and everything.
Mhm.
Um, and if they cut it at all similarly as they did Cooking Crush, then you really want to see the uncut version because they cut out like
Mhm.
bits that actually make plot. You know what I mean? Like without them, things aren't as maybe clear or interesting or whatever.
Mhm.
So
The flow is not that good if you just cut out some stuff at weird moments.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is hardly going to be. It seems stupid to me that there's a uncut version of this show anyway. I mean, it's a high school show. They look very sweet and young in it. I mean, like when I say they look sweet and young, the actresses don't, but the characters are meant to be young and sweet and innocent, I think. So it's like, um, it's hardly going to be, and there's, it's not going to be adult stuff they're cutting out. So it's actually going to have to be plot point story stuff they're cutting out, which, yeah, I don't know. It seems such a silly. I don't know why they're doing this thing. Uh, it's weird. It's almost like, elitist is the wrong word because that doesn't really fit, but it's because it's like, oh, you don't belong to these countries, you can't watch this, or something
Hmm.
like that, which is a really strange way to go when the fact that Beale has blown up and that so much is that huge parts of the fan base are like from, you know, the rest of the
Yeah, you
world.
want to make it available everywhere. Like you want to reach like every country. You want to interest people from all over, and not you don't want to piss off people from certain countries that feel left off and feel like what I don't really understand why this is
No,
happening.
I mean it's interesting too because they do the same thing like with K-pop stuff occasionally, and I get it. You want to pay homage to like the original fans bases or like whatever, but if you're a, say, like a, for example, like a K-pop group, and you're huge now, like the amount of, say, Korean fans versus the amount of other fans for that group way outnumbers by about like, 10 to 1 or even more, like of the original Korean fans. So it's like when you do stuff just for one thing, you're as you said, you are like, you're basically
Marginalize some people.
yeah, you're just kind of like, separating everyone else from the group and saying, well, you're not really that important to us.
Hmm.
We're more focused on this. And yet it's really funny to me because GMM and everyone, they push for the worldwide trends and stuff on like Twitter or whatever else. It's like, how do you think you're going to get worldwide trends when you're not you're not allowing viewing access worldwide? Like, you're going to get Thailand and you're going to get, as you said, the countries that it's available in, but it's really hard as a fan to, post and trend about stuff that you haven't actually seen or you don't have access to. It's really difficult. So
But
they,
besides, like the fans might try, they will try. The
oh,
fans
of
of
course they
the
will.
actresses and everything. But it just creates bad vibes because why do this? Why?
Mm-hmm.
If you, I don't know. I feel like you either do it, make it available for everyone, or you just don't.
Yeah. And I don't, and half the time it's one of those things. Like, I'm like, okay, the uncut version is a paid site version. That's whatever, right? Fans who have the capability will pay to watch. It's one of those things. I mean, you are cutting out fans who can't afford that. But like, if you leave that side, because let's face it, they're a company, they need to make money, they need to pay their actors. So if you take that side out of it, but you should be giving people who have access to pay for these things, who have access to these sites, worldwide access. Basically, if you want worldwide trends, you want worldwide audience, you need to give access for that. Not having access for that is very kind of ignorant almost of like what you're asking from the fans. And the other thing is, it's so weird to me, this trend of doing like cut uncut. Like, uncut
Hmm.
versions of
Hmm.
shows were for things that were not suitable on like you to be played on YouTube or whatever, because it's like a slightly higher rating or whatever. Why are you making an uncut version of it, like a PG show, like a, like of a really, like, you know it's just very
You're
bizarre
messing
to
with
me.
the story. Yeah, you're messing with the story.
So yeah,
It's
it's
weird.
very strange. Because if there's not, as you said, if there's not a clear cut line between what is, like, with cut uncut, if you're doing it the way it's intended, which is, as I said, like, you're cutting out mature scenes, then there's a, like, where the boundary is, as a director, as a a producer, you know where the boundary is for like what you're cutting and what you're leaving. And so like while some intimate scenes you'll be able to leave, and the ones you cut out probably won't alter the storyline too much. Like they're there because they fit the story, but they're not, unless something like majorly crazy happens in that scene, it's not going to alter the story, like, you know what I mean? So
Mhm.
there's like a real kind of easy boundary between cut and uncut versions. Whereas if you're not looking at it like that, how do you know where to cut it? Like, what do you cut? What's the criteria for what gets put in the cut version and what gets put in the uncut version? You know what I mean? Like
We
there were,
already know we already know they're not doing a very good job with it when like
yeah,
looking at Cooking Crush.
yeah.
They're not.
So I
So
mean,
yeah.
there were some scenes, yeah, there were some scenes that were in the uncut version that definitely made the story a lot, not a lot better. Like, I mean, it was a good story, but it made you understand the characters better, made you sympathize with certain things or empathize with certain things in you understood the motivations a lot clearer. Or like, and some, I think there was a couple of things they cut out that like you didn't even they didn't even give you a chance to understand what was going on, really, because they just didn't include it. They just gave you like the resolution. And so I think people were like, wait, hang on, wait, what happened? Because they didn't
Mhm.
actually see the actions of it getting there, which is so bizarre to me. So I don't know. This cut uncut thing I'm not a fan of. And I saw the Netflix thing and I thought, oh, that's cool. And then of course I realized straight away, well, it's not going to be on my Netflix probably.
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
being in Australia. I mean, hey, you never know, but I doubt it very much. So it's a bit of a
Anyway, so
shame.
it gave me My Beautiful Man and Secret Crush on You vibes, actually.
Secret Crush on You, I totally see. Actually, it
Mm-hmm.
actually gave me Secret Crush on You vibes now that I say it. And
Mm-hmm.
probably the
Mm-hmm.
things I like about it are probably the Secret Crush on You vibe thing. I think, as I said, I think I need to watch the first episode to know whether or not I'm going to be able to watch it and whether or not I'll be interested in it. I might be a little bit biased because I didn't really like them in Bad Buddy. Like I didn't get the hype. And I'm not. That's not on them. It's just I think it's one of those things. I feel like sometimes my brain is like likes to be contrary. If everybody really likes something, my brain's like, do I really want to be one of the cool kids? And so like I like make myself biased because I'm like, I don't want to like it just because everyone else likes it. So I don't know if that was a thing because everybody loved them. I don't remember seeing any real criticism of their pairing from Bad Buddy at all. And yeah, I was just like, nah. um so
I didn't think their story in Bad Buddy was interesting.
yeah, I think that was the thing.
Yeah,
And I don't know that I really
it was
find
just
this
not.
very interesting either. I think the change in dynamic would be interesting to explore because, as I said, they've gone and switched it around and everything. And I can definitely see there's going to be some pretty scenes in it. The scene that I was talking about at the end where they're watching the stars under a blanket at the end of the trailer looks very
I
pretty.
don't remember
Um,
this scene. I don't remember it. I watched it 2 times and I don't remember it.
they mentioned it's funny. It's funny that you don't remember it because they talk about the tilting thing, about the Earth tilting in that scene as well. I don't know which one says it. I think it's.
Oh
Wait,
my god! I just didn't. I stopped when I saw the like they stop. They show you the 23.5 whatever, and then there's an additional scene, and I never got to it.
oh,
Oh,
okay,
okay. I can see that. All
okay.
right.
So that is the
Oh, the
that is like
trailer.
one of the scenes, yeah, that I actually liked, and you didn't even watch it.
The trailer actually got me curious. It certainly made me want to give it a try. I cannot, I don't know if it's going to make me obsessed, if I'm going to end up
Why
liking
did
this
you
series
cry though?
or
Like,
not,
what
but
about it made
I
you cry?
don't know. I don't know. I'm in a very weird mood and like I have no idea why I cried. I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny because like um I don't know what it is. I don't know. Am I just a bad? Maybe I'm just a bad. bisexual, but I don't know. I just didn't find their chemistry interesting, and I didn't find the premise that interesting. I am really interested to watch the trailer though for, is it Pluto?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that to me, when we saw the like the pilot trailer, I think is what we refer to them as, that looks
Hmm.
really interesting to me. Maybe that's because it's got like not me vibes with the whole like one person pretending to be someone else or something. I don't know.
Not me and Last Twilight because, and
Yeah.
also Namtan and Film. I love them both. I love them so much.
Well, I feel
I
like
love
they
them
have.
separately. I was already in love with them separately, and then the news suddenly came out that they were going to play a couple, and I was just like, oh,
Well, see,
I
I
was so
think they
happy.
have really good chemistry. Like they seem to have really good chemistry in the pilot trailer, and so I was, even though they didn't put them together as a pairing in Last Twilight, because that was our first thought. We thought maybe they might be going to do that. And then they didn't. They went a completely different way, which is fine. I was still a little bit bummed that we didn't get any actual scenes like with them interacting, because regardless of like romantic chemistry, I think they have very good on-screen chemistry, and so I think that would have been like fun for them to become friends at least. So that was one of those things that I kind of was expecting from Last Twilight, but we never really got. So I'm very interested to see that. So I don't know, maybe I came into this watching it. I mean, I think I said to you before we started watching that I probably wasn't going to like it. And so
Hmm.
maybe I predisposed myself. But as I said, there were a couple of things that I just went, oh no, when it happened, and like the screaming was
I
one
do
of them.
think,
And
yeah, I do think that the chemistry, like the switch of the dynamic is interesting.
yeah,
That
I think that's interesting too. As
Love is playing the sun, and Milk is playing, the tilt. I don't know
Yeah, I was
which
not.
is
I, I
bigger.
I must admit, like, as I said, I didn't know much about it. I never watched the pilot trailer for this. I literally only read up about it today, and so I wasn't really expecting that at all. I was expecting it to be the other way around because that was their dynamic in Bad Buddy, and
Hmm.
I did not expect the switch. So the switch is enough probably to make me, as I said, watch the first episode just to see like
Intriguing.
how that pans out.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I'm not sure because of the, as I said, because of the misunderstandings and all of the screaming. Those two things that I like aren't I'm not a huge fan of, and I'm not sure about their chemistry. But if it's just going to be a sweet GL, then it's probably, the chemistry thing is like, it's okay if it's a bit awkward because they are meant to be high school students. So that I'm not really, that doesn't really rate that high for me for this. Like if it wasn't set in high school or something like that, and there was like this expectation of like more kind of, I guess, mature intimacy, and by that I don't mean like sex or whatever, I just mean like, I guess, like there's a big difference between, a couple of high school kids in love, like puppy love, and then like, having an adult relationship. um
Hmm.
there's like a maturity to the chemistry, and I definitely don't see that here. But as I said, it's a like what 3-minute trailer or something, and also um it's they're in high school, so I feel like having that expectation would be a little bit weird anyway, so that doesn't really
The
bother me.
screaming, the screaming did not bother me. I think actually Ongsa is supposed to be immature, and maybe San is supposed to be the one who is a bit more
Well, she comes
who
across as a bit more worldly, you
more
know what I
mature.
mean?
And when I'm
Yeah.
thinking that she, like, even the way she treats this whole thing is irresponsible, right? Because San is a person, and you're basically playing with her feelings because you feel inadequate, and now you're doing this, but you're hurting the person that you like, and so
Mm.
like there's potential for her to grow as a person in this series, and this screaming and everything just shows how childish she is probably at the beginning of their interaction. It doesn't bother me at all.
Well, as I said, I does
And
the her doing it as a plot point doesn't bother me. But I
Mhm.
I get migraines and stuff, right? So I'm very auditory sensitive to certain things. So for that reason it bothers me. Like it's like I'm
It's a
seriously
trigger.
triggered by it. Like it's
I
majorly,
see.
yeah, major trigger for me. So I could not stand it. Like it was, my jaw was clenched. Like physically I had a reaction every time she did it. So as I said, I would have to have it down really, really low to be able to watch it, because every time she did that I would want to like throw my remote at the television. So and I get super angry. Like if my auditory stuff's like triggered, I get really like super like raw. So which is not a good way to, that's not the intention that they're going for. They're going for like funny, comedic, like whatever. Or as you said, like to lead into some growth, character growth. Um but yeah, for me it's like
I
it's a
wonder,
major ugh.
like
But
it's pretty clear about Ong Sa that she is like this character who is immature, who has to grow, who has to start seeing herself differently in order to get closer to the people that she actually likes and to see them as real people, right? I wonder
mm,
if they're going to make San be as this person who is very popular but feels like she's not really seen by anyone because of this distance that maybe people create around her. This is something that was an issue in My Beautiful Man, and that was an issue in Secret Crush on You, especially at some point when the character that was supposed to be the popular one understood the way, the one who was like a fun boy viewed him and viewed the relationship.
mm.
So if they're going to make her actually be a character who is feels lonely among a lot of people, that's actually something that I will enjoy. Like it looks like a fun story for me to watch.
Well, I mean,
I'm
she
curious to see
seems
what they do with
she
it.
seems super confident and all the rest of it, but maybe she's not. The other thing I wondered if they might not be going there, which is could be an interesting turn too, because there's at least what two or three incidences in the trailer where they like one or both of them are crying, so which seems like an awful lot considering like the only big secret they have is like this whole Earth Sun Ong Sa thing. Like so I'm like, why all the other crying? Do you know what I mean? So my thought was, I wondered this scene that we had where she was questioning Ton's interest
Hmm.
in Ong Sa. Is it like it to me? It didn't come across as jealousy. It came across like she thought he was messing with her. So like, why does she think that? Is he just the kind of person who would mess with someone like her? But then the reason why I say someone like her, what is like Sun's motivation for suspecting him of this behavior? Is it because she thinks that she's naive? Is it because she also thinks that he wouldn't be interested in someone like her? Which then begs the question, what does she see when she like what is she seeing when she looks at her? Like, like she might like her, but does she also think she's a massive you know what I mean? Like it could be an
Hmm.
interesting um like like she likes her but she thinks she's a massive dork, you know what I mean? But that's okay, that's what
But
she
also,
likes
yeah,
about her.
yeah, because I feel like the way Ong Sa presents herself in real life, it would be hard to see her and to like her, right? And
Mm,
she's much more confident as this Earth persona. So I guess Sun falls for the Earth persona, and then she's slightly like she's curious, she's intrigued by Ong Sa. And when she actually starts to get attracted to her, she questions what the hell is going on. So she doesn't understand her feelings towards Ong
yeah,
Sa.
I think probably what
Which
what
confuses
what
her.
will happen is as you said, she starts to have like feel a thing for the online personality, and then when she starts to have this attraction for Ong Sa's character, it'll be because the bits that she likes about this Earth person shine through every now and then, and so
Hmm.
that's what
Hmm.
she's going to be attracted to. I think it depends on how they do it. If they do it in if it's done well, it will be interesting, I think. But I'm not sure that there's like, I don't know that it's going to be that deep. Do you know what I mean? Like it's, I don't know.
Well,
I
there's
didn't get a lot
potential
from the
because
trailer.
girls, teenagers in school, oh God. A
Oh yeah,
lot
look.
going on, a
Oh,
lot
for
going
sure.
on like this. And it's not simple at all. So if they treat it superficially, mm, that would be a pity, because there's so much that they can explore. And by the way, by the fact that they cry a lot, that they have like this, they question who they are, like there are a lot of ways they can go about it to make it an interesting story.
Yeah, look, if they explore the potential that they've kind of dangled here, it definitely could be very interesting. However, if they don't actually delve
Oh
into
God, you
those
keep saying
things,
however.
no, well, we don't know anything. This is like 3 minutes of we've got no idea. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Like it.
Yeah.
There are definite moments that you're saying here looks like they could be going to do this, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's what they're going to do with that. So like, what I'm saying is, if they don't do it, then it's going to be a very sort of superficial, cute high school comedic whatever, where they throw the occasional drama in there just to create drama and misunderstandings, which, as I said, feels very like old school BL of them. Even this whole like fake persona slash, you know what I mean, reveal thing is, to me, is very like old school BL. So yeah, I would be curious to see how it pans out, but I don't know necessarily that I'll watch it. I'm probably going to be like waiting to see what people say, and things like that. I'll probably watch the first episode, because I usually do with pretty much everything that comes out. I usually watch at least one episode of it to see whether it's for me, because there are so many things that come out that I'm just like, nope. And then I've ended up watching a bunch of them. Like, me, like for example, I really wasn't at all interested. Remember, before we even did the potential obsession for the last Twilight trailer, I was like,
Hmm.
yeah, I'm not going to be into this. I'm really not going to have anything to say, blah, 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 blah. And then I really
Hmm.
enjoyed the trailer, and then we went on to really enjoy the show, more or less. See how diplomatic I slid that in, more or less. And it was a they did this amazing thing, or amazing things. And so, like, while I didn't have that reaction to this trailer, it doesn't mean that I'm not gonna like the show when it actually airs. I can't be sure, but there are a lot of aspects of it that I didn't like, but there's a couple of things that kind of interest me enough to watch the first episode anyway.
Yeah, so I guess this is it. Thank you for hanging out with us. Follow us on Tumblr, on Twitter, send us asks, interact with us.
Bye for now.
Bye.